All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Booze and Bitcoin. I'm Brandon, and on this channel, we crack cold ones for Bitcoin. Today, we are drinking Belching Beaver Brewery Peanut Butter Milk Stout. Belching Beaver. Is that code word for farting vagina? Pussy brew, or not pussy brewery, queefing brewery? I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't taste like that. Tastes like peanut butter milk stout. That's good. That's a keeper. I don't care what their name is. All right. So, it's actually really good. Let's get into it. Is this a bubble or not? Let's characterize what a bubble is then to begin with. So, from what I've been researching, there's rapid price movements. We got that. Leverage and debt. Bitcoin futures is being launched by Wall Street in order for them to get a piece of the pie, which sucks because Wall Street ruins everything. We'll see that here in a little bit. And people starting to talk about it. That's been big lately. So let's look at a few of the crashes then in the history of the world here. Tulip mania. Everyone's comparing this to the tulip bubble. It took place in Holland. It's basically where tulips were more valuable than gold. As you can see from this, it did hit a peak, and the tulips were shit overnight, pretty much. South Sea bubble happened in the UK. Mississippi bubble happened in France. Railroad bubble, where's happened in the UK. Wall Street crash, everyone knows that as the Great Depression. Black Monday happened in the 80s. So this one happened in the United States. This one happened in the United States. I believe this one was the Japan housing bubble. Keep up in Japan. It was thought that the land underneath Tokyo's Imperial Palace was worth more than all the land in California. Okay, so basically land bubble. And then .com bubble, again, United States, crisis, United States. As we can see that America's got their hand in the cookie jar, screwing shit up for us all the time. So now that we know America has now created these Bitcoin futures, basically funds on Wall Street for you to purchase Bitcoin or not. How is that going to affect us? They were launched, I believe, earlier this week or last week, and it hasn't seemed to do so much to the Bitcoin market, but we'll see what happens. Next, we are going to talk about the wealth of the world, because what differs from Bitcoin versus all these different crashes is that they're specific to a country, right? It was one country's economy. Well, what differs from Bitcoin versus all these different crashes is that Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. So in Brazil and China and Canada, whether it be Africa, if you have a computer and you're mining Bitcoin, you're part of the blockchain solving it and being a part of that cryptocurrency. And if you own it, doesn't matter where you are, you own part of that value of Bitcoin. So it's going to take the entire world in an orchestrated, I guess, plunge in order to crash this. So that's what I don't see anyone talking about, that I've kind of, I wouldn't say I discovered it, but it's not a question that's being asked that no one's answering. It's going to take the entire world in order to crash Bitcoin, which seems a little tough, which got me thinking, what is all the money in the world worth, or what's the total amount of money? And from what I got, basically derivatives, all the money in the banks, all the assets, all index funds, is valued anywhere from 544 trillion to 1.2 quadrillion dollars. That's a lot of damn money. So that made me ask again, how much is in the crypto market versus how much money is in the world? And then I was looking up here there. in the crypto market, here we go. Sorry about clicking around. In the crypto market as a total, let's refresh this just to make sure it didn't crash or anything. We have $539 billion. Come on, guys. $539 billion? That's a lot of damn money, but it's nowhere close to the amount of money in the entire world. So, is Bitcoin a bubble? It meets some of the characteristics, but this is a different bubble than what we have ever seen asset-wise in the history of the world. It doesn't encompass just one country, it encompasses the entire world. So that's what leads me to believe this might be different. Is it a bubble? Is it not? Who actually knows? You won't know until it actually happens. So I see there's probably a few outcomes for what will happen to Bitcoin. You gotta kind of figure out, okay, if it's a whole world currency, who owns it? And what I was researching was China and USA own majority of it. I wasn't able to find any factual numbers on who owns it because it's really hard to track that. But China and USA own most of it. And I was starting to research, well, who mines most of it? And China actually, let's see if I can bring the chart here. China is responsible for basically 81% of mining because that's where all the pools are. They have the cheapest electricity, and they're basically drawing in all the hashing power for that. But they're a big exporter of Bitcoin too. So it's really hard to tell who owns the most, but we definitely know that China definitely mines the most, and that China and USA hold majority of it. But that'd have to be an orchestrated attack between China and USA in order to plunge it, which leads me to my next question. If those two countries own the most, who is it in those countries that owns the most? And there's really it's really hard to determine because there's no names associated with the wallets. But you can see that these are top Bitcoin wallets in the world. And this one I calculated out was worth 2.1, 2.3 trillion dollars. That's a lot of money. No, not 2.1, not trillion. 2.1 billion, excuse me. Which is still a lot of money. That could, if they decided to sell, that could put a little hurt on the cryptocurrency market since it's only at, what do we say it was? 539 billion. That'd be a little chunk of change out of there. So there's a lot of factors at play that would have to come in order to tank it. Now, I don't know if Wall Street and the futures will be the nail in the coffin, or if it'll help, or what. We can only play it by ear, kind of watch and see what happens, and pay attention to the news, see if China puts any laws in, if the USA makes any laws, or if there's any sort of hacks that take away a bunch of people's Bitcoin. I know Hashflare got hacked and they stole, not Hashflare, excuse me, NiceHash. NiceHash got hacked and they stole close to 5,000 coins, and it was around $70 million at the time. So it would take a very, very large amount of selling or buying throughout the whole world in order to change the price. And that's what's happening right now. Everyone's talking about it, everyone sees it, and they're driving it up. It's so hard to tell what's going to happen, guys. For me, I see a few outcomes. One, that levels out. Everyone kind of just says this is an unsustainable rate. Either it's going to crash, or the whole world ends up adapting or adopting Bitcoin and says, all right, Bitcoin is the future of the world. We're adopting it as the currency. Go with everything. That's not likely at all. I kind of see what is it? Kind of like a blend of all three. I think it's going to level out, and I have no facts to back this up. This is purely my idea or theory of what's going to happen based off seeing the numbers and doing a little research myself. I think it's going to level out a little bit. There might be some correction, but it's proved to be, well, it's proved it's going to stick. Excuse me. It's proved itself enough to where it's going to stick around. People are going to adopt it. You can start to buy cars. I know there's a Lamborghini shop that actually you can buy Lamborghinis and Bitcoin. I think there's a couple real estate places or real estate companies you can buy Bitcoin with now, so people are starting to accept it. And with the price going up, people are only going to be able to accept it more, or they're gonna adapt and start making money on it, or they're gonna lose out and only accept cash. So that's what I think is gonna happen there. What else did I want to talk about? I think that was about it. So in my last video, I saw that we didn't have very many comments. There's a couple, but nobody put down their Litecoin address. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give it anyway Litecoin this time. But if you guys comment below on this video, whether it's positive, negative, tell me what beer to drink. Oh, that's why I started drinking this beer. No one told me what to drink. So tell me what beer to drink. Ask a question. Hopefully I can answer it for you guys. I'll try to address it in the next video. As always, have a beer for me, and I will see you guys later.